everybody. Jeff Cowan here from Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk, and I'm back with a new edition of my podcast entitled Right Service, Write Your Own Paycheck, the path to making over $100,000 a year when writing service in the automotive industry in the United States of America, Canada, and Australia. And at this very recording, over 20% of you are doing just that, making well over $100,000 a year writing service. But that means that 78, 79% of you are not. So what are we going to do about that? Well, I think you're smart by watching this podcast. I think you should keep watching them. I think you should go to our website and check out my articles, my other videos, and the like, because in all of that, you will find the techniques, the processes, and all the tactics you need to maximize the opportunity you have and put yourself in the $100,000 a year or more club, which is a fun club to be in. Well, this week we're going to kind of break ranks here for a week, and instead of giving you a message on one topic, I'm going to answer some questions. Now, these three questions I've chosen are all kind of interrelated, but I think that they're going to calm a lot of people down out there. Usually when I do a question and answer series, I like to credit, so-and-so called in from this dealership in this city and this state and whatever. I'm not going to do that this time. And the reason I'm not going to do that this time is because I had so many people in the last 2 or 3 weeks asking me these same questions, whether it be through telephone, text, or email. I mean, just tons. For example, the first question, over 150 people in the last 14 days have asked me this question. On the second question, well over 90 people in that same time frame. And on the third question, well over 110 people have asked that same question. So with that, let's jump into it. The first question we have come in from 150 of you over that. How do I know if I'm overselling? Now, before I answer that question, let me tell you why I think this question's coming up so much. If you're out there on the service drive like we are every day at Pro Talk, because you'll remember, that's how we do our training. We show up, we stand side by side with managers and service advisors, coach, critique, role play, and write service to show how well our stuff and how fast that it works. And in doing that, since the virus has started, we've noticed that there's a customer out there who is buying more, and they've never been more willing to buy more than they are right now. That being the case, the hours per repair order, the dollars per repair order, the effective labor rates, and all that stuff has really gone through the roof, and I think it's gotten a lot of you nervous. You're wondering, am I overselling the customer? Well, let me first tell you why. I'll show you how you can tell whether you're doing that or not. But let me tell you why I think everybody's buying so much and so willing to buy. It's a great time to be in the service business. We're one news conference away with this virus going on, one news conference away from having airplanes, trains, and buses shut down. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, but even with them running, there's millions of people out there that are just terrified to get on an airplane, a train, or a bus because of the virus. So whenever that happens, you're going to see exactly what you see right now. They understand that the surest way to be able to get to where you need to go is your car, is your vehicle, is your truck. And so you got to make sure it's running. You got to make sure it has everything it needs. It's your security blanket, right? So that's what the mentality is. And again, with everybody buying so much, I think it's got some of you scared and making you feel like you're overselling. So how do you know if you're overselling? Well, you're not overselling if what you're presenting is based on mileage. I mean, if it's recommended at a certain mileage that a customer does a certain thing to their vehicle and you offer that, that's not overselling. If when you walk around your vehicle with your customer and you see something that the car needs, physically see it, and you present it to the customer and ask them to buy it, that's not overselling because the vehicle needs it. If your technicians, once they diagnose the car and they make a laundry list and you present that to the customer, I mean, if they saw it and that's what they believe needs to be done, then you're not overselling if you present that to the customer. Okay, and then the final way to tell you're not overselling is if you're recommending what the owner's manual recommends. As long as you're doing that, you're not overselling. The one thing you want to stay away from is getting the mindset of overselling them. You're not. As long as you're following those guidelines, it's based on mileage, what you physically see in the walk around, what the techs see, or based on the owner's manual. As long as you're following that, you're not overselling. So there you go. Question 2, related. How do I know if I'm underselling my customers? Well, that's easy. I mean, it's really the same formula. I mean, if you think about it, if customer comes in with a certain number of miles in their car and it's recommended they get something done and you don't present that to the customer, you're underselling. If you walk around a customer's vehicle with them in tow and you see something on the vehicle that catches your attention that needs to be done, but you fail to point it out and present it, you're underselling. If the technician makes a laundry list of things that need to be done in the vehicle based on their expertise and the diagnosis they came up with, and you take that list and you start crossing things out because you don't think the customer will buy it, or you don't think that they have enough money, or you can't get it through the shop, or all these other silly things that keep people from selling stuff, and you don't present what the tech recommends, you're underselling. If it's in the owner's manual, it says it needs to be done, and you don't present it, you're underselling. Okay? So again, it's the exact same thing. It says, how can you tell if you're overselling or underselling? Based on miles, based on what you see when you walk around the car, based on what the tech sees, and based on what's in the owner's manual. If you're doing exactly what those things tell you, then you're not under or overselling. It's that simple. Okay, it's that simple. So don't let this surge in sales put fear in you or make you feel bad or anything like that. I mean, if the vehicle needs it, it needs it. Present it. All right. Third and final question here. This one's really interesting. And this one comes, from what I can tell from the text, the emails, the telephone calls, this is coming from the newer people newer to the job, meaning they've not done it for a long time. And here's what the question is. I'll paraphrase it, but here's what it is. My manager has a maintenance menu that does not match the factory's maintenance menu. So which one should I use? Well, the answer to that question is really pretty easy. Both. Now, I'm assuming you're asking that question because the menu that your business owner or manager's come up with is probably more, ask for more money than the one the factory does, and that's probably why you're asking that. It's the same thing. How do you know if you're overselling? So, which one do you use? Again, both. I've always felt like there should be two menus out on a service drive when it comes to preventive maintenance for one simple reason. The guideline that's in the owner's manual is just that. It's a guideline. Now, yes, the customer has to do those very basics to keep their warranty intact, but it's basically a guideline. And it should be looked at as just a guideline and not the absolute end-of-the-day rule. Now, why do I feel that way? I've traveled all over the United States. I've traveled all over Canada and Australia, and I've been in every climate you can be in. And let me just tell you something. If you think the way you would maintain a car and keep it in top-forming condition, safe, secure, and fuel efficient in Arizona, the way you would handle a car there would be the same you do in the state of Maine. No way. I mean, in Maine, it's you got the ocean right there. It's damp. It gets down to 20 below zero. A foot of snow, 2 foot of snow on the ground with wind chills 40 below zero. In the summer, it might get up to 80 degrees. Again, you're right there on the ocean. Over in Arizona, there is no ocean. It's desert. It's dry. It's dusty. It won't get below 50 degrees typically in a winter. On a day like today, in the middle of summer, it's literally 118 degrees in Phoenix, Arizona, as I'm recording this right now. I mean, the way you take the way you take care of those two vehicles in those two different states, there's no way it's the same. So, what am I getting at here? I think you should have two menus, the factory one, and then one that you create based on. Here's the difference. Make sure you write this down. Based on what you as a service advisor and your factory trained technicians see based on the vehicles that you're working with every day that drive on the same streets and the same conditions that you do. So how do you create that? Well, here's what you're going to do. First thing you're going to do as a manager or business owner is you're going to have a meeting with your service advisors and your expertly trained technicians. And you might even want to include the business development center in this because they talk to a lot of these customers, and you definitely would want to enter and make sure that your quick services, express services, those people are in this meeting as well. And what you're going to do in this meeting is say this: look, we've got a menu here from the manufacturer. This is what they recommend that we do. But we all know we're seeing cars come in here that they need more than this. Some cases they need less, and so this is a guideline. It's not exactly what our customers need. So over the next 2 weeks, here's what I want you to do. Technicians, every time you're working on a vehicle that comes in at certain mileage, I want you to take a look at it, and I want you to make a determination. I want you to decide on a given service, is it the right time to do it like the manufacturer says? Is it too early? Based on what the manufacturer says, or should it be done sooner based on versus what the manufacturer says, based on local driving conditions and the road these cars drive on? Okay, And service advisors, I want you to do the same thing. I want you to take a look at these vehicles, and I want you to note that on the various services, these need to stay exactly what the manufacturer recommends because it's when it's needed, or because of local driving conditions, it needs to be done sooner, or because of local driving conditions, it can be done later. All right? Now, when you bring your findings back, it's not going to be based on just your opinion. I want to have hard data. Because when you bring that hard data back, we're going to come up with a preventative maintenance menu schedule based on local driving conditions. Okay? So that's how you create the second menu. But you never want to present just one or the other. You always want to present both to every customer. Now, here's why. Okay, if you present just what the manufacturer recommends and customers start having concerns with their vehicles, like I'm a perfect example of this. My manufacturer, based on the vehicle I drive, says I don't have to rotate the tires until the 10,000 mile mark. Well, the first time I followed that, I went in and had to buy new tires because they weren't rotated, So I started going in every 5,000 miles. It's definitely earlier than they say based on what's needed based on local driving conditions, right? So as long as it's based on local driving conditions, you're fine. But when it comes to just following the manufacturer's thing, what I've learned is I can't trust the manufacturer or that particular dealership because obviously I need more. All right, so it causes problems down the road. Now, if you don't present that one, but present only the one that you come up with, then you know what's going to happen there. Your customers are going to accuse you of not being up and trying to overcharge them. How so? What do you mean I need to do this today? That's not what it says in the owner's manual. We've all had that happen to us before. So how do you stop all those arguments and give the appearance, because it's true, you really have the customer's back? You present both. Now, when I say present both, you got to let them know why you're doing it. So the first time you, as an individual, work with this customer, it's not the first time they come to your service center or any of that stuff. They could be coming there for years. It doesn't make any difference. The first time you, as a service advisor, work with them, you want to let them know how you work. You want to set up the realistic expectations. Now, most of the time for you in the new car dealerships, it's going to be when they bring the car in for the first time right after they bought it. So it's going to be really easy to do. But anytime you've never worked with a customer and it's your first time, here's what you always want to say to them at some point in time during your write-up. Mr. Customer, one of the things that you're going to like about working with me is that I like to keep my customers informed and I like to keep them prepared. So what you're going to notice is that every time you come in, I'm going to recommend what you need to have done to your vehicle today based on local driving conditions and or mileage on the vehicle. Okay, and I'm not only going to tell you what you need to have done today, but I'm also, before you leave, going to tell you what you need to have done next time, so you're prepared for that. You'll know how long to leave the vehicle, prearranged rides, and what your investment's going to be when you come in at that point in time. Now, when I make these recommendations, it's going to be based off of one of two sources. I'm always going to present to you what we like to call the factory recommendations. Okay, now the factory recommendations mirror exactly what's in your owner's manual, and it's a guideline. And I'll tell you why here in a second, but it's a guideline. And whenever you come in, you should always do at least what the manufacturer recommends, because if you fail to do what the manufacturer recommends, and down the road you have a warranty concern, and you can't prove you've had these things done, you won't have a warranty. You don't have to do them here. We'd like for you to do them here. I want you to do them here. But if you haven't done someplace else, hang on to the receipts, because if you ever have a warranty claim, you can't prove you've done the preventative maintenance, then you won't have a warranty. But I'll always let you know what the manufacturer recommends, and as long as you do that, you'll be okay. But I'm also going to present a second menu with you, preventative maintenance menu. And this one was designed by our factory trained technicians or ASC certified technicians based on what they see, based on the vehicles they work on every day that drive on the same streets and the same conditions you do. And you're going to notice that as I present this to you every time you come in, that there's going to be certain things that we agree with the manufacturer need to be done right now, okay? And we'll recommend those. You're going to see that there's times that we're going to say, you know what, we don't recommend that now. We recommend it 2 visits from now because of local driving conditions. But there's going to be times when you come in and we're going to recommend you do more than the manufacturer recommends, or you do something earlier, but it's all again based off of local driving conditions. Local driving conditions just like the roads and streets and conditions that you drive in yourself. This menu again was put together by factory trained technicians that work on vehicles like yours every day. I've discovered that all of our technicians typically follow this. I know that I follow this, and here's why. Every time I get in the car, I want to make sure that it's safe, it's reliable, it's efficient, and I want to make sure that it's giving maximum performance. And the best way to do that based on local driving conditions is follow this. But even if I present that for you and you feel you don't want to do that, at least do what the manufacturer recommends so that your warranty remains intact. So Mr. Customer, let me present to you today what you need to have done off of both these menus. Now, how can they argue that? Because you're telling them, hey, if you just want to do what the manufacturer recommends, that's fine. Do at least that. You got a warranty. You don't even have to do it here. You can go someplace else. Just hang on the receipts. I have your back. I want to make sure that you're covered. But if you're the type of customer that wants maximum performance, maximum security, maximum rideability, and everything else that comes with it, based on local driving conditions that are based on what our factory trained technicians see on working on vehicles just like yours that drive on the same streets, the same conditions you do, then this is the way to go. They can't argue against it. It just shows that you're trying to cover their back. So the answer to that was you simply are going to present both. So that's about all we have time for here today. I want to let you know again, my name is Jeff Cowan from Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk, and we are the masters at helping you become the best. I've got books. Get online, look them up. We'll make an order them and we'll get them sent right out to you. I've got pocket guides. I've got over 200 or 300 work tracks on what to say, when to say it, how to say it. I've got a couple hundred closes and ways to handle objections. We've got virtual training. We will show up at your store and work with you side by side. I will show up and do workshops if you want to, or you can come to our workshops. I mean, anything you need, we're going to get it done because we're Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk, and we've been in business over 3 decades, and we not only get it done every time, but we get it done on time, and we'll give you results that are easily sustainable. You want to maximize your opportunity, be the best you can be. Now, today, right now, today is the time to act. And you do that by dialing that telephone number, 1-800-248-2931, 1-800-248-2931, and anybody that picks up that phone can answer any question you have. Or you can go to our website and fill out the forms. We'll call you, or you can call me direct at 317-506-1003. Again, 317-506-1003. That rings right to my cell phone, which is sitting right over there. If I'm available, I'll pick it up. If not, I'll call you back within 24 hours. Hey, my name is Jeff Cowan. I want to thank you for listening and watching today. I invite you back next week because I've got another message I know you're going to love. It's going to help you out and help you maximize your opportunities, so make sure you come back. But between now and then, you make it a great week, because between now and then, that is exactly what I am going to do. So again, thank you for listening and watching. God bless you all. Talk to you soon.